chin slightly lifted, voice calm, servants behind her. The fantasy becomes a mirror she cannot stop staring into. Still, somewhere deep inside, a small voice asks, "Why would Li Baozhen need me?" Hello everyone, welcome back to 3D Cartoon Review. Today we dash straight into Hongzhu Town, the noisiest corner of Dali, where smiles sparkle and hidden blades breathe. People call it a playground of the rich party hotspot. I mean a famous destination, but in Jian Lai, the liveliest streets often hide the deadliest corners. Season 2, Episode 4, begins with something surprisingly gentle. Chen Ping'an's chest loosens a little, as if he has finally exhaled after holding his breath for days. He doesn't become naive. He simply learns to separate what he knows from what he fears, and that small clarity makes his footsteps steadier. Earlier, Liang's playful eyes looked like trouble. Yet the more Chen Ping'an watches, the more he senses another truth, someone strong, yes, but not someone hunting him. To calm his thoughts, Chen Ping'an seeks Zhou He. He asks for the kind of training reminders you only value after your knuckles have bled enough times. Zhou, he does not preach. He points at feet and hips, shows where weight should settle, and reminds him that intention must arrive before the fist arrives. He also warns Chen Ping'an not to chase power too early. In martial arts, rushing is like stepping onto thin ice. You hear the crack only after you fall. With those notes, Chen Ping'an practices again. His stance stops wobbling, his punch stops leaking strength, and even the courtyard air feels quieter, approving his patience. That quiet improvement clears a corner of his heart. Suspicion toward Liang loosens, and the boy can finally look forward instead of always looking behind him. He realizes something simple. If Liang truly meant harm, the danger would feel cleaner, colder, and already unavoidable. Liang's weirdness is not that kind. But while a boy polishes his basics, an empire adjusts its grip. Far away, Dali issues a secret order, a hidden command that needs no drums to sound terrifying. The order is absolute. Mobilize. Officials move, soldiers move, and even the orthodox gods of mountains, rivers, and city streets are pulled into formation. In this world, a dynasty is not only banners and laws. When Dali truly focuses, it can command earth deities and water spirits like a general commands a squad. That is why the narrator stresses the scale. This is not a casual search. It is Dali showing rare control, tightening every thread across Baopingzhou. When a state moves like this, cultivators in higher realms notice the pressure. The air itself feels watched, and luck becomes skittish, like a horse hearing wolves. The frightening part is the coordination. City gods report, river gods listen, local officials relay, and soldiers act in unseen bureaucracy that never sleeps. And the center of that pressure is Liang. He still laughs and wanders, but the net above him spreads wider than a town and colder than winter river water. In the capital, such orders usually come with a list of "do not ask" rules. The less you understand, the safer you are unless you are the hunted one. That is why Liang's carefree face feels unsettling. Either he is blind to the storm, or he knows storms so well he no longer bothers to look up. Liang doesn't explain. He rarely explains anything. Yet that very silence suggests confidence, as if he knows exactly how far Dali's hand can reach. While the imperial net expands, another danger slips into Hongzhu Town on quiet footsteps. Zhou Lu arrives, carrying ambition like a hidden ember under her ribs. She does not arrive as a tourist. She arrives as a gambler, the kind who has already pushed every last coin onto one single throw of the dice. She is here because Li Baozhen has written to her, and that letter has given her a simple, intoxicating promise: kill Chen Ping'an and change your fate. Li Baozhen's words are sweet, polished, and carefully baited. If Jolu succeeds, the past can be wiped clean, and her future can be rewritten with gold ink. The hook comes next. Li Baozhen implies marriage, status, and a title, becoming a gaming furin of the Li clan, no longer a disposable piece on others' boards. Jolu believes it. Not because she is wise, but because she has been hungry for respect too long, and hunger makes dreams taste like truth. Li Baozhen's letter is not only persuasion, it carries a hidden signal, a line that tells Jolu this is a real deal, backed by power, not just empty romance. Zhou Lu rereads those lines in her mind, tasting every promise. Each word feels like a silk ribbon pulling her forward, tighter and tighter, until she cannot step back. She even rehearses how she will stand after success, chin slightly lifted, voice calm, servants behind her. The fantasy becomes a mirror she cannot stop staring into. Still, somewhere deep inside, a small voice asks, "Why would Li Baozhen need me?" Zhou Lu silences that voice, because doubt is expensive in a poor life. Back in town, the travelers split up like ordinary customers. Zhou He and Zhou Lu head to the weapon shop first, pretending to buy tools for a normal journey. Chen Ping'an and the others gather supplies, then plan to visit the famous bookstore. In Hongzhu Town, books are treasures, and treasures often carry curses. The streets are lively, vendors shouting, incense drifting, and drunk laughter spilling from side alleys. Yet behind that noise, Chen Ping'an senses hidden eyes. At the weapon shop, Zhou Lu wants one thing: a dagger. Small, quick, easy to hide. A tool for one clean moment that could flip her life's direction. She studies blades the way starving people study food. Every handle looks like a promise. Every edge looks like a shortcut. And shortcuts are what Li Baozhen sells. The shop refuses to sell. Whether the owner senses trouble or follows rigid rules, Zhou Lu leaves empty-handed, smiling politely while frustration burns behind her teeth. Zhou. He notices her disappointment, but he says nothing. His silence is heavy, as if he already understands that some desires, once lit, cannot be extinguished by advice. Zhou Lu nods and pretends the refusal doesn't matter. She keeps her smile, because in her world, showing panic is the fastest way to be looked down on. That refusal is tiny, but it shakes her plan. In her mind, fate has already agreed to reward her, so why would a shopkeeper block the door to her future? Across the street, Lin Shouyi's stubbornness shines. He insists on purchasing Yunshang Langlang Shu, a rare text linked to lightning cultivation and violent clarity. The bookstore smells of old paper and dust, the kind of smell that makes people speak softer, as if books might wake up and judge their manners. Yunshang Langlang Shu is only 1/3 of the method. To complete it, one must gather 3 parts through 3 connections: Fortune Yuan, Human Yuan, and Dao Yuan. Without Yun Yuan, timing never arrives. Without Ren Yuan, the right people never appear. Without Dao Yuan, the words stay dead, no matter how perfectly you recite them. Lightning cultivation is famous for speed and danger. It rewards decisiveness, but punishes mistakes, as if the heavens themselves dislike careless hands touching fire. Lin Shouyi holds the book like it is both treasure and thundercloud. He does not boast, he simply pays, as if accepting a contract signed with the sky. Chen Ping'an watches this quietly. He doesn't understand lightning methods, but he understands longing, and he can see that Lin Shouyi's longing is sharp and focused. Lin Shouyi understands the gamble and buys it anyway. In this story, that purchase is not decoration. It is a step onto a road toward brilliance or ruin. Evening settles, lanterns wake, and the group returns to the inn. The building smells of oil, rice, and damp wood, the kind of place that remembers old arguments. They eat, they rest, they act ordinary. Yet the narrator keeps reminding us, ordinary scenes are often where destiny hides, waiting to jump from a shadow. Zhou. He sits with his back to a pillar, listening. He looks like someone resting, yet his attention stays awake, following footsteps, counting breaths, guarding without showing he guards. Zhou Lu sits longer than she should, staring at her hands, no dagger, no certainty. Only Li Baozhen's letter in her mind, whispering that failure means nothing. She imagines Li Baozhen's smile turning cold. She imagines doors closing. She imagines herself thrown away again, and the fear tightens like rope around her ribs. So she improvises. She takes bamboo sticks from candied fruit skewers and sharpens them patiently, scraping until the tips become needle-hard and ugly. It is not elegant, but desperation rarely is. Zhou Lu is not a trained assassin. She is a person gambling everything on a single strike and a promised staircase. The inn grows quieter as midnight approaches. Outside, wind slips between rooftops, and the lanterns sway like they are listening to whispers humans cannot hear. In her room, Zhou Lu tests the bamboo tip against cloth, then against wood. She practices the motion once, twice, stopping before anyone hears the scrape. She chooses a moment when the inn is half asleep. Night is kinder to criminals. Fewer witnesses, softer light, and a silence that makes lies sound believable. Late at night, Zhou Lu approaches Chen Ping'an with softened eyes. She begins with an apology, the kind that sounds sincere enough to invite kindness to lower its guard. "I'm sorry about the past," she says, then asks to talk outside. The corridor is dim, the floorboards creak, and the air feels suddenly too thin. Chen Ping'an hesitates. He has learned caution, yet he has not learned cruelty. He follows, because part of him still believes words can mend what pride broke. He also remembers Zhou. He's training notes. Observe first, don't rush. So even as he follows, he watches her shoulders, her breath, her hands, her pauses. At this moment, you expect a Liang to appear, laughing and blocking danger with laziness. But a Liang is gone, having checked on someone, and vanished into night. The rumor is clear. He went to the flower boat. He will be out all night, drinking and teasing, leaving Chen Ping'an briefly unguarded in a town that loves ambushes. That absence feels deliberate. A Liang moves like someone confident that danger is manageable, or like someone who has already placed a countermove elsewhere. Outside, the air is cold and lantern light thins. Jolu guides Chen Ping'an toward a darker corner, speaking softly, keeping his eyes on her face, not her sleeve. Inside her sleeve, her fingers wrap a sharpened bamboo point. Her breathing tightens. She remembers Li Baozhen's promise and the title that would make people bow. Chen Ping'an notices her gaze flicker toward his throat. He notices her shoulder tense, like someone about to throw a stone. His stomach sinks, but he stays still. Zhou Lu feels time slipping like sand. If she hesitates, she fails. If she fails, the dream collapses. The bamboo tip slides into her palm, ready to bite. As her arm rises, the story reminds us of the other net closing elsewhere. Dali's hidden command continues rippling, pulling gods and officials into a single hunt. Somewhere, a city god turns its head. Somewhere, a river spirit stirs. Somewhere, a seal stamps red ink. The Empire's attention presses down like gravity. Chen Ping'an cannot name that pressure, but his skin feels it. He shivers for no reason, as if the night itself is measuring his breath and his fate. Zhou Lu does not feel the Empire. She feels only her heartbeat and her hunger. In her mind, one thrust means a new life, and she calls it destiny. The narrator calls it what it is: a stab from behind, a betrayal wrapped in apology, a cheap point sharpened by desire, aimed at a boy made into a key. Episode 4 ends on that suspended second, before consequences explode. No blood is confirmed, only tension hanging like a blade that refuses to fall. And that is why this chapter hurts. It shows fate changing not only through grand techniques, but also through small, desperate hands reaching for shortcuts. A Liang's laughter on a flower boat, Dali's gods marching in silence, Zhou Lu's bamboo point, Lin Shouyi's lightning book, every thread pulls the same rope. If you felt your chest tighten at the end, that is the craft. It traps you in a breath and refuses to let you exhale until the next episode begins. If you enjoyed this review, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens the moment that hand strikes. That's all for today. We'll meet again next time, when the flower boat night and the imperial net reveal what a Liang has been hiding and what Chen Ping'an must endure.